All right, so today we're going to be talking about what to do if your ex is in a rebound relationship and you want to actually get back together with them. I mean, if you don't want to get back together with them and they're in a rebound relationship, just, you know, do what you can do to wall that part of your life off and do what you can do to just focus on yourself. But if you actually do want to save this relationship, that is what we're going to be talking about today. First of all, if this is your first video of mine that you're seeing, my name is Clay with modernlove.life. Thanks so much for tuning in. We're here to help you to get the great loving relationship that you want without having to play mind games, without having to play hard to get, and without having to pretend to be someone or something that you are not, because you deserve to be loved for the unique, amazing, and wonderful person that you are. Um, so yeah, we're here talking about rebound relationships. So the first thing that I want you to do, if you're not already taking care of this, is to make sure that you don't panic. Okay. Um, I know that when you're coming out of a breakup, it's very easy to be in this state of mind that we call damage control mode. In case you don't know, damage control mode is that sort of panicked, anxious state of mind that many people find themselves in after a breakup, where they just are doing whatever they can do to try to, um, repair things as quickly as possible. This is often characterized by things like begging and pleading, calling or texting way too much, maybe sometimes buying expensive gifts, apologizing a million times, things like that. um, if you've been at this for a little bit, you probably know that being in this damage control mode state of mind is not very resourceful. And what we really want to do is we want to make sure that you're out of it if you're in it. Um, One thing that can help is to sometimes take a step back and to do what we would call active no contact. Um, you know, cut contact with your ex for a period of time and then actively do what you can do to heal emotionally and actively do what you can do to improve the emotional connection that you have with your ex. We'll get to that more in a little bit. Um, but it's really, really important that you're out of this damage control mode state of mind, because pretty much anything that you do in damage control mode is going to backfire on you or be counterproductive. So please make sure that you are aware of this, and please make sure that you're addressing damage control mode if you are in that place. Again, no judgment at all. I have been there. I've been in damage control mode. I know that probably most people that have gone through a breakup have been in this damage control mode sort of state of mind. There's no judgment, but just, it's not going to be very resourceful for you to be there in that frame of mind. The next thing I want you to keep in mind through all of this is I want you to resist the urge to try to meddle or sabotage your ex's rebound relationship. Now, I know the breakups can be hard enough as they are, and that when you find out that your partner is seeing someone or dating someone or getting uncomfortably close to someone, it can feel like that, sort of punch in the gut. Maybe you just broke up and that was hard enough. You got out of damage control mode through one way or other. And then, you find out, oh, hey, they're dating someone else, or, oh, hey, they're seeing someone else. They're going out to meet people. They're signed up on a dating app or something like that. Or maybe they're actually like in a real, new relationship. That can all send you spiraling back into damage control mode. And in many cases, external things happening can cause you to spiral into damage control mode, which is why we want to make sure that we are authentically healed on the inside, not just, temporarily feeling good because the circumstances happen to be okay. So, again, make sure you're out of damage control mode, but you also want to make sure that you're not trying to meddle in the situation as well, too. That's to say, we don't want to try to put down our partner's rebound relationship. We don't want to try to badmouth them. We don't want to try to, do any, shady stuff like hack their email account and send nasty emails to the rebound, or, whatever. Not to give you any bad ideas or anything like that, but don't do these sorts of things. Any attempt to try to make the other person look bad is going to be counterintuitive. It's going to backfire on you. It is going to make you look bad, and just drive your partner closer to the rebound person. So please make sure that you are aware of that and don't do that. Okay. um, I promise you that if you follow what we're going to talk about in this video, the rebound relationship will take care of itself. You do not need to get down into the mud and make yourself look bad in the process by doing anything that seems petty, anything that seems manipulative, anything that seems, sort of like that. By the way, if you do like these videos that we're doing, please make sure that you hit the thumbs up button for this video. It helps us out with YouTube. And if you're not already, please make sure that you subscribe to this channel as well too, and hit that bell icon while you're down there as well too, so that you can get notified the next time we go live. We are live right now, and there are some questions being posted in the chat. We will get to those towards the end. But just make sure that you are subscribed and hit the bell icon if you have not already done so. But we want to make sure that just review, be out of damage control mode. Don't put down the rebound partner. The third thing here is that I really want you to understand that rebound relationships have a certain sort of cycle that they go through, right? We talked about this in yesterday's video. I'll go ahead and put the link for that right up there, just around 5 minutes. Okay. Just trying to remember so I can put the video card link later, because personally, it kind of annoys me when you're watching some YouTube video and they're like, yeah, be sure to check this out up there, or check the link down in the description. But there's like no link in the description. I get it. People are busy. They often forget to do things like that, but it just kind of irks me. Anyway, again, rebound relationships have stages. And during this initial first stage of the relationship, where the rebound is really just a reaction to something, something that happened between you and your partner, or something that your partner is feeling, like an impulsive urge to, be in a relationship by the time they're 30, or to, believe that they moved on faster than you or whatever. You're probably not going to get a lot of groundwork and progress done during this point in time, at least actively when it comes to communicating with them, because they're still sort of blinded by this belief that, like, oh, hey, look at this. I've moved on faster. That means I blah, blah, blah. Or, hey, look at this. I can tell myself this story that I'm over my ex or something. So you're probably not going to be able to get a lot of this progress made at this point in time, which is fine, because you may very well be in damage control mode. It may make sense for you to go take a step back and cut contact for a little while. That's absolutely okay. Those two things can kind of work hand in hand. But in one of those 3 later stages, that is when it can actually make sense to start to connect with your ex. This is where the main strategy here comes into play, which is that we want to make sure that we are connecting emotionally with our ex. So they are already, whether they are consciously doing this or not, they are already going to be comparing you to the rebound partner. They're already going to be doing that. Okay. They're already going to be saying, hey, are you better than they are? Are they better than you are? All these sorts of things. That's fine. That's normal. But what happens is when you start to show up into the picture and actually create a stronger emotional connection with them, by focusing in on advanced relational skills and all the, emotional connection stuff we've talked about on numerous videos on this channel, what happens is you actually start to outshine their memory of you, and that causes you to step forward into the forefront. And it's we can talk about this forever, but you're going to be able to connect with them in a much deeper way. Additionally, on top of that, so many people are actually starved for meaningful emotional connection in this world due to these things: smartphones, social media, apps, all that sort of stuff. People are actually starved for emotional connection. There's been a lot of research into this with the likes of, Sherry Turkle and other people as well too. Not going to go into that in great detail, but you're just going to have to take my word on that. And so it's not going to take a whole lot to really stand head and shoulders and to make a significant, meaningful emotional connection with your ex. Especially since their rebound relationship is probably coming from a place of some narrative that they're trying to tell themselves. Look at me, I moved on from my ex first. Look at me, I can tell myself some story about how I got into a new relationship first. Therefore, that means I win or something. I don't know. Um, um, they're probably not forming an actual organic emotional connection with their rebound. And, true, they might be able to get by on the sugar high of the new relationship when they're especially in those early stages of the reaction stage of the rebound relationship. But as that sort of wears off, as that sugar high wears off, they'll realize, oh, look, there's this person here. I don't even know if I can actually connect with them. And that's when you can show up and create an emotional connection in a much stronger way because you've taken some time out, done active no contact, really focused on having a strong emotional connection and all of that stuff, to the point where you should actually be able to stand head and shoulder. And again, this is not that hard because so many people are not very good at connecting emotionally, and so many people are starved for meaningful emotional connection just due to the state of society, the world, all that sort of stuff, smartphones, um, social media. It's supposed to connect us, but really it just kind of creates these paper things. And I'll get off my soapbox anyway. Um, so you want to understand that. You want to understand that rebound relationships go through these cycles. And after that first stage is over, then you can probably be able to move in and create a strong emotional connection. In terms of what you do want to be focusing on, again, we're not meddling. We're not trying to put down the other person. We're not trying to say, oh, so and so is bad news. So and so is terrible for you, whatever. We're just trying to show up at this point and create a strong emotional bond. Okay. Your ex is going to be unconsciously or maybe even consciously comparing the two of you against one another. And what is going to happen is if you are just connecting with them, behaving like a adult, and not putting this other person down, and just creating a strong emotional bond, many things can happen. Number one, you're going to come across as mature and emotionally stable, which is great. But also, um, their rebound may become insecure, jealous, anxious, etc. Might go through the process of maybe putting you down or something like that. And of course, that backfires, as we've already talked about. So that's just going to cause them to feel closer to you. Plus, additionally, you're going to be able to create an emotional connection because you've actually taken the time to practice, advanced relational skills, connection, all that sort of stuff that we've talked about on this channel. And you're going to be able to stand head and shoulders above most people when it comes to emotional bonding and actually being able to have a real connection with someone, because you're just, not just locked in on this thing with this glued to your face and, micro analyzing, oh my goodness, I got 5 likes on this thing, or, whatever it is, right? So we want to make sure that we are really focusing on the emotional connection. The emotional connection is really the most important thing that you can be doing and focusing in on through this whole thing. You may have heard me many times in previous videos say that the emotional connection is the most important thing, and I mean that. I know there's a million and one different factors. There's a rebound in the picture. They're getting serious, all this sort of stuff. But if you just focus in on the emotional connection, it's going to take you where you want to go, because they're not going to leave the rebound and get back together with you, just because you put down they're not just going to say, oh yeah, you're right, he is a bad boy, maybe I should break up with him and be with you because you have a stable job, or like whatever. They're not going to do that. They have to see the emotional connection and experience it and know that they are more connected with you than anyone else, and know that you get them more than anyone else out there. And when that happens, they're going to want to spend more and more time with you. They're going to want to spend more and more time with you and create more and more distance, and spend less time with the rebound or less time with anyone else. And as this happens, things are going to start to move. Now, of course, we've also talked about your ex's 5 stages of getting back together on this channel many times. If you and your ex are in contact and you're having like meaningful conversations, you're probably at least at the riding the dragon stage. As you continue to build that emotional bond with your ex, and the two of you move closer and closer together, they'll probably get towards a stage that we call crisis point. And this is where things start to get interesting because, up until this crisis point, your ex, being in their rebound relationship, probably didn't think too much about talking to you. It's just like, hey, here I am talking with my ex. Is this going to lead to somewhere? I don't know. There's no harm in me just talking to them. There's no harm in me just, getting coffee with them or whatever. Um, and as this happens, as I start to move into the crisis point, this starts to shift from a hypothetical experience to a real experience. That is to say, they start to realize they actually do have feelings for you because you've been practicing the things that we've talked about and because you have been acquiring these advanced relational skills and all of this. And now they realize they have an emotional connection with you and they realize, oh, now I have to do something with this because now this has gone from just simply hypothetical to real. Okay, so what does that mean when this starts to become real? That means that, maybe it might be time to think about ending things with the rebound relationship. And this can be a hard move for them to make because, the last thing they want is to say, okay, I broke up with you and then I got together with so and so. And now if I break up with so and so and then I get back together with you, like, number one, what happens if you don't want to get back together? What happens if I just fall flat on my face? Now I'll look silly. Or what happens if we get back together and then we just end up breaking up again? Then people are going to think that I'm just that like hot mess person that's always breaking up and getting back together and all that sort of stuff. And so they're going to be really hesitant about making this move. And that means that they are probably going to want to cling to this rebound relationship. Okay, this is very common because it would be, obviously more convenient if them and the rebound just worked out. It would be less complicated, less stressful, less moving parts and all that sort of stuff. But they still can't ignore the feelings that they have for you. So what they might try to do is just not really as a test, but they might try to discourage you just to see how serious you are about being in a relationship with them. This is where a lot of the stuff comes from, like, oh, you're too good for me, or you deserve better, or you could have any man or woman or whatever that you want to, or stuff like that. They are connected to you. They feel the bond towards you, but they just want to know that this is actually something that you want as well too. Because they want to know that if they end things with the rebound and get over here with you, that they're actually going to have a soft place to land. They're actually going to be able to have a real relationship that's going to be there for them when they make this big move. And this point is where you can do all of those things that, everyone else is telling you that you should never, ever do. You can tell them your feelings. You can tell them, that you love them. You can tell them that you're committed to them. You can tell them that the two of you can have a future together. You can tell them all of these sorts of things, because these are things that are going to actually demonstrate to them that there's a soft place to land and build confidence and trust in them, that if they make this big move, that they're not just going to fall flat on their face and feel silly about themselves later on. So again, this whole crisis point thing, it can be tricky in a lot of different ways. But if your ex is in a rebound relationship and they're still in the rebound relationship, when you get to the crisis point area, this is the kind of behavior that you can expect from them. And this is where it might make sense to enforce some boundaries. Get some decisions to be made from them, and basically just let them know that, hey, I'm not going to wait around forever, all that sort of stuff. Of course, in a loving, compassionate kind of way, just so that you can leverage the emotional connection that you've built up with them through the advanced relational skills and through the emotional connection and all that sort of stuff, to get them to actually make a decision, because they're not going to want to make a decision because they're afraid that it's going to be the wrong decision. So they're going to do what probably most people do when they're afraid of making the wrong decision, which is to just stand still and to do nothing. So if we want to actually get some movement here, we have to actually put a little bit of positive pressure on the situation and leverage the emotional connection that we have built up. So, and I've talked about a lot. If you want to learn more about all of this stuff and put it into practice in your relationship, please make sure you sign up for our free email newsletter over at modernlove.life/newsletter. You can also find a link for that newsletter down in the description box below. But with that being said, again, I hope you've enjoyed this video. Hit the thumbs up button, all the YouTube stuff, let's go ahead and see what people are talking about on this lovely Friday afternoon or Friday evening or maybe Saturday morning, depending on what time zone you're in. Anyway, let's see. Noel says hello from Canada. Hello. Not sure what side of Canada you're on, but I'm dangerously close to British Columbia over here. D says I just got the reminder. Okay, great. I'm glad you got that reminder. Let's see. We have Dylan who says, will this be uploaded later so I can rewatch it? I don't have time to listen. Yeah, I mean, it's YouTube. We're live now when we're live, and then the video lives on forever when the live portion is over, and then it's just like a normal video that you can watch. Okay. The Pale King says, good evening, Clay. Suzuki says, hello from Portland, Oregon. That's great. I used to live in Portland, Oregon. Some of those very first videos that I shot for YouTube were actually in Laurelhurst Park. I know it looks like a forest or something, but it's a big park. At the time we were living in a small studio apartment, and like the lighting was just awful. There's no good way to film anything, so I just had to go take a camera out into the park and just do my best to find. So some of those videos are kind of funny because I didn't know how to edit videos back then, so I just try to do it all in one shot. And so I just start talking, and then sometimes I'd hear some things happening behind me, and then I'd turn around when the video's over and I'd be like, whoa, that's what that was. That was like an entire like brigade of people building some like bleachers for some sort of event behind me. And it's like so weird to just like go back and watch the video and be like, wow, they were actually building that. Like this group of bicyclists came by and they just stopped and took this break right behind me. I'm sure it was like the most distracting thing in the world. But anyway, yeah, Portland, not so bad a place. Let's see. Leanne says, hola, Clay. How are you? Well, hola. I just got back from Mexico about a week ago. Been a really weird week if you've seen that update, but things I think are settling down. Things are getting as normal as they possibly can be given the situation. So that's where I'm at. All right. Zalaraya says, my ex is now dating her friend who is trans male. I'm not sure if I can get her back. I'm still talking to her via text, and I want her to be happy. No matter what happens, I still genuinely love her. Well, there's another follow-up question here. Should I leave her rebound relationship alone? Or I should leave her rebound relationship alone, but I'm still texting her. How often and what should I say? Okay, so what we say about texting is you can text as often as you want to, as long as the emotional connection between the two of you feels good and is bringing the two of you closer together, right? So like if you're joking, if you're emotionally connecting, if you're having a good time, all of that sort of stuff, hey, keep it up. Keep it up. Something's working. Let's keep it going. But if the emotional connection is more strained, if it's sort of, things are falling flat, the two of you are missing each other because schedules or whatever, okay, maybe something's not working out here, and it might make sense to take a step back and to, look at what's going on, maybe just let some time pass or whatever. In terms of what you should text about, like, I don't really think that it makes a lot of sense to be scripting these text messages and be like, okay, on Friday, I'm going to send this text message about, something. And then on Sunday, I'm going to send this memory text. And then on Tuesday, I'm going to send a jealousy text. And then all that sort of stuff. I don't think you should do that. That kind of stuff, just number one, it's like totally artificial and, mechanical and fake. Number two, it pulls you out of the present moment as well, too, so that you're not actually focused on what's happening between you and your partner. The ideal thing that I would recommend that you do is, like, number one, text whenever you have something to say. Don't like robo text and be like, okay, I'm going to text every 3 days or every week or whatever. Just text whenever there's something to say. Ideally, you're going to go out there, you're going to be living your best life, you're going to be doing whatever. And if something happens to pop into your awareness, that maybe reminds you of some experience that the two of you had, or reminds you, or it's like, hey, something that I knew that you'd love to see, or, oh, hey, I just randomly ran into our mutual friend so and so, or whatever. Yeah, those are the great ways to go ahead and text and just see where that conversation goes, building rapport, building emotional connection, all of that. I don't like the idea of artificially trying to structure something by, memorizing some cut and paste kind of text messaging things that some other people are talking about. I mean, like if you just want to get someone to text you back, just, text them something like, hey, I'm pregnant, or hey, I just found out I have some STD or something. They will respond to you probably, but then you have to actually follow that up with something. So good luck with that. I prefer to just be open and honest, and just live your life. Don't just focus in on the emotional connection. Don't try and structure this in some sort of robo texting sort of thing of, I'm going to text every X number of incremental days or something, or I'm just going to follow some copy and paste thing. But you want to be present. You want to be in the present moment. You want to be connecting in the present moment. You want to be noticing the emotional connection between the two of you. When it's getting stronger, when it's going well, obviously keep doing whatever you're doing. And when it's suffering, when it's not doing anything that's moving the two of you forward, that's when it can make sense to put a pause on it and to reevaluate what you're doing here. Let's see. D says, my ex left Thanksgiving night after 14 years together. And I guess the two of you lived together for 13 years. And you have a 12-year-old daughter. And she got into a rebound and moved in the day after she left. Okay, yeah. Very, very much sounding like a rebound. There's another one from you here. My ex still reaches out to me while in a rebound and asks if I'm dating. If it is serious, then seems jealous. She cries when she is at the house. It's going on 4 months and I don't know what to do anymore. Okay, so I mean, it sounds like your ex is past the reaction stage of this. That's to say, the belief that somehow breaking up with you is going to open up some unimaginable paradise and utopia of endless positivity or something like that. And they're confronting the reality of all of this. So now I think it would make sense to focus in on the emotional connection. I think that it would make sense to do that and to make sure that the two of you are, connecting, doing all the stuff that we've talked about in this video and also other videos as well too. Yeah, I'd really recommend that you do something along those lines. Let's see, Suzuki goes ahead and continues on. Is advice only good for an ex, or can it work for someone you dated briefly and due to miscommunication, you parted ways and are trying to get back with them? Yeah, so I think that probably most of the stuff that we've talked about can help with this. I'm actually, it's interesting. I'm actually helping a client through kind of one of these sorts of situations. But basically, what I think needs to happen in that kind of situation, where it's not necessarily an ex, but it's someone you just dated briefly, and then some sort of misunderstanding drove the two of you apart, is you really want to try to get to a point where you can have like a talk about what happened, about some misunderstandings, and just basically just say, hey, you down to hit the reset button? I mean, like, if you're in some of our stuff, if you're in like Effortless Connection, which is our communication course, which is good for people that are trying to save their relationship, people that are in relationships, and also people that are, I mean, it's good for like any kind of relationship communication. But this is what we would call a same team conversation, just basically calling out the elephant in the room and inviting them, enrolling them in the opportunity of actually being on the same team, so that the two of you can move forward together and to explore what might be possible between the two of you. But that's what I'd recommend in that kind of situation. Um, there's Chris from Cornwall. Hey there. I think I remember seeing your comment maybe a week or two ago. Good to see you there. Let's see who else we got. Let's see, did that one. Um, America. Wow, is that actually your name, America? That's so interesting. Anyway, America says my ex broke up with me, and we just started talking again. And he asked to see me, and we met up. He kissed me twice, and when he last saw me, and now we are talking, but only if I ask him questions about him. Yeah, so that's a good point here is many times your ex will hold themselves back. They will hold themselves back from actually fully opening up to you because they could be worried about, what's your motive in all of this? Are you just trying to get back together with me? Am I ready to get back together? This is all happening too much too fast. I don't know what I want, all that sort of stuff. And so in order to avoid doing something too much too fast, they may just hold themselves back and play this whole thing very conservatively and, basically do what he's doing here. What can help in that kind of situation is, again, a same team conversation of sorts, as well as just dropping the pressure because he could just be concerned that the pressure is too high. Like, hey, we obviously have a romantic connection of some sort. What does it mean if we're talking? Does that mean that I'm leading you on? Does that mean that you're leading me on? Does that mean that I have feelings for you? Do I want to have feelings for you? And so the pressure is just like way too high. So if we can just drop that pressure down by just letting him know that, hey, let's not force anything that's not there. We obviously have our history, but let's just take this one day at a time. Stuff like that. That can often be enough to drop the pressure to really open the door for the two of you to connect in a deeper sort of way. So I hope that helped you out there, America. Like seriously, is that really your name? Because that would be so interesting. I've never actually seen anyone named America before. Although I guess it kind of sounds like a name, right? Like it could be a name. Let's see, there's a couple other people saying, hello there to everyone. Yeah. So anyway, guys, looks like we're a little bit over 30 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. But once again, if you want to join us in that newsletter, you can find it over at modernlove.life/newsletter. Lots of great free information over there. So please feel free to sign up for that. And please make sure you also hit the thumbs up button, subscribe, all that good stuff. Anyway, thanks so much for tuning in. Hope you have a great weekend. Take care, and I'll talk to you next week.